how you looked at the start of the season. What changed tonight?
Yeah, I give our guys credit from this standpoint. I mean, obviously, it's been tough, with the number of guys going down, the rotations, and what we've had to deal with. And like I've said before, I think there was certainly enough in our locker room, to play better than we were playing. And but when you get bodies back, that always helps. I appreciate the guys. We mixed up rotations a little bit differently, and guys, I think understood that, and the level of sacrifice and kind of wanting to fulfill a role however they could help. Um, but we got to try to get back to one, being whole, and then two, trying to create our identity. And to your point, it's probably a lot closer to the way we played earlier in the year.
And one of the big ones was Vooch rotation change. I mean, you brought Zach in really quickly in the first and third quarter. All three bigs played very well tonight. Is that a look we're going to see moving forward?
Yeah, I think so. We hadn't gotten a chance to see a lot of it. With Zach being out early in the year with the broken hand, and then Sticks with the hamstring, we hadn't really been able to do it. So, we had some limited practice time with it. I thought those guys in the first quarter and part of the second quarter, they did a really nice job, and we played big. Vooch really kind of got it going in that end of the third, beginning of the fourth. I just kind of stayed with him. And you know what? I went with Zach and Jalen, for a pretty long stretch because they had it going. So that's what we're going to do. Everybody's going to kind of complement each other. But yeah, I mean, hopefully going forward, we can continue to look at those kind of lineups.
The zone was really disruptive in the second quarter. What did you see?
Well, I just think, one of the things we have to deal with is there may be at times tough matchups for us when we are a little bit bigger. And I did feel like, Jalen and Zach were playing well together. And I just didn't want to be forced to have to downsize, because they were downsized. And, we were able to score enough that allowed us to get back and play some zone. But I thought the zone was helpful, for us, in the game. It kind of eliminated matchup hunting, so to speak, and maybe broke a little bit of rhythm. But again, I think when you're doing that, you got to kind of make some baskets because that kind of allows you to set your defense. But I thought the zone was effective for us tonight, in terms of helping us maintain a lineup that was big.
And you guys were able to generate a ton of turnovers tonight, which has not been like.
Yeah.
What was the difference?
I think one of the things we, had talked about repetitively, and I think we've gotten better at this over a period of time. Not that we've, have been a team that's forced a lot of turnovers, but we've gotten better. I think maybe like the last 10 games, our turnover rate's been top 10, which is something we need to do to what we talked about earlier, the offensive rebounding, the turnovers. If we're turning the ball over, not that we're turning it over at a high rate early in the year we were, but we're like middle of the road. We're not like this team that just totally takes care of the ball and never turns it over. And we're not turning it over all the time, but because we weren't turning anybody else over, there was no advantage there, right? And then we're not offensive rebounding, and other teams are getting a few offensive rebounds. So you look at the stat sheet, teams are just getting more bites at the apple than we were, So I think a lot of it stems from we've kind of really been in some good fills. I think the staff's done a really good job just to continually working and explaining those things to the guys. I think the shifts and the fills and the help and the rotations have been better. But I think for us, we're not going to be like a team that's like ultra disruptive, like shooting passing lanes and going for steals. But if we can be a team that's positionally in the right spots, I think sometimes you can force turnovers that way too.
Billy, if Trey Jones was this good at steals, San Antonio, I don't remember it. I mean, obviously he's getting a little more opportunity here, but he's top 10 in steals with shooting the gaps consistently tonight. How much does that help your guys' defense?
He's disruptive, Like I think the thing with him with the steals is he kind of picks them up a little bit earlier before they're getting ready to happen. He can anticipate what's getting ready to happen. And he shoots the gap and he's there. A lot of times he'll get into situations where a guy will drive and all of a sudden here comes some help and he'll break it off and run to like the next passing lane and to your point, be able to shoot the gap. He's the one guy I think for us that does shoot the gap and generate some steals.
Really, we talk about the quality shots focus. What do you think about the contested shots for tonight?
You have to see what the numbers actually look like, but I mean, I like the shots that we generated. I like the way we shared the ball. Listen, I think if we're going to have 80+% of our shots are going to be open and good looks and uncontested, I think we're going to shoot a lot better than 26%, 26.5% like we did against New Orleans. So, we shot the ball better. I thought the ball movement was better. I felt like we generated good shots, but I don't know if we generated quite 80%, but we did generate good looks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot,
Yep,
Billy.
thank
Big man. I mean, you did it pretty long stretches tonight with Zach. What did you think? How do you think you guys did, and what do you like about it?
It's fun because, obviously at the 5, I be getting boxed out so much because I don't get to get offensive rebounds. So now I just get free runs to the rim, tip outs like that. Still working on the space and stuff, trying to find my spots. Obviously, it's only my 3rd game back. Yeah, I'm playing 4 already. So, but it's fun. Zach is a great basketball mind. We got great guards around us. Pretty much me and him are allowed to just read off each other.
Do you feel like the defensive activity jumps when you and Zach are out there together?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we've been experimenting with his zone lately. Obviously a lot of big lineups go zone, and it deters a lot of people from coming to paint, and obviously creates a lot of opportunities for us to get out on the fast break. So I feel that we've been doing well so far.
This game seemed eerily similar to the beginning of the season. You guys had 7 players in double figures, almost 8, and the bench was doing its thing. Did it feel like early in the season?
I want to say yes, but no, not really. Cause I still feel like there's a lot we can improve on, Paul. Obviously we want to take this game as a lesson and just continue to keep building upon it. But we on our way back. We on our way back slowly but surely, but we on our way back.
You feel the pieces are.
I don't know who I.
Go ahead. You feel like the pieces are starting to work together at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously we got Kobe ball hawk himself coming back. But I feel as though everybody's coming back in one. Our main goal, our emphasis is just to play for each other. Play for each other, play for our team, play for the name on the front of our jersey, not the back. So I feel as though that everybody's just buying in, and obviously win or loss, we gotta just be happy with the results of us leaving it all out there.
Jalen, when you look at how the season has gone, it seems like you guys can have the formula for success, which is playing fast and being physical. But it also seems like maybe you're having trouble doing that, sustaining that because of injuries and because maybe you just can't muster the energy every night that's needed to play that way. How do you?
Oh, for sure. It's tough. Over 82 games, you're going to have injuries here and there. Like I just had a hamstring no more than 3 games ago. But at the end of the day, we are professionals. It's next man up. And we got to hold ourselves to a standard that no matter who's on the game, no matter who got a jersey on that night, who's out, we got to play to our standards and play to our principles. And I feel as though that's something that we're building upon, obviously getting everybody back. But you got to be prepared for the worst sometimes. And I feel as though that in those early stretches, we kind of let it get to us and we kind of, didn't step up to the challenge. But now we are.
Jalen, you mentioned the zone. Why do you think that was so effective for you guys? And you mentioned keeping them out of the paint, but you're able to generate a bunch of steals. The defensive rebounding was great. What did you see in that look?
Pretty much. Obviously on the back end, you got me. Let me see. We only had me, Zach, and Josh and Pat back there. Long wingspans. Keeps them out of the paint. Obviously, we had a lot of trouble keeping teams out of the paint early on in the season, and I feel as though that nobody wants to go up against that. And obviously, when guards see a whole bunch of wingspan back there, they kind of get deterred. And I feel as though that creates a lot of more defensive rebound opportunities for us and for our guards to leak out to get a lot of kick aheads.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Just the way you guys played tonight looked a lot more like the 5-0 start than the last stretch. What was the difference for you? How did it feel out there?
I think tonight was probably the most unselfish we played in a long time. And, early on when we were playing the right way and winning games, I thought we had multiple guys. I think we had 8 guys tonight, 10-plus points, and that's kind of when we're at our best as a team. So getting back to that, moving the ball, sharing the ball, and we look really good when we play that style of basketball.
How much did the defense kind of help get you guys out there? I feel like the zone in the second quarter in particular was really good to just get you in transition a little bit. How much did the defense?
No, I thought the zone was really good, and it was a good switch up. We haven't played a whole lot of it lately, but to get into that the way we did and execute, get stops, force turnovers, get out in transition, it was really good. But I thought man zone, our defense is really good tonight. I think Mitchell got going a little bit in that second half. We kind of shut that off in the fourth. But, credit to Wes. I think he does a good job mixing it up, showing different coverages, different man zones. So I thought both of them were really effective tonight.
And then the 2 bigs, I know you guys were in zone for that too, but just the defensive rebounding, keeping them off the glass. What was kind of the difference there for you?
Yeah, I think having 2 bigs, and it's obviously a new look that Billy's starting to go with a little more, and it's been really productive, I think, and effective. And Zach and 6 in there, it gives us an advantage on the offensive glass, which is something we've been trying to emphasize. We need to get better at, so I thought they were both really, really good in that. And then when we go zone, we're a big team with those 2 at the back line. So, it's good. As I said, Wes and Billy mix it up in terms of lineups and what style of defense we're playing. But, irrespective, I thought tonight was really good that side of the ball.
You ever taken 11 threes in a game before?
I think one time when I was in OKC, but I think probably once in my life.
They're leaving you open. You got to get them up, right?
Yeah, I mean, something I've worked really hard on. I wasn't, I was never blessed to be a great shooter, and something I've had to work really hard at. So, being confident, letting it fly, taking good shots. I think that's one thing I've gotten better at in my career is taking the right threes. When I'm open, let it fly.
Do you know if you can sustain this, especially if you got to face Cleveland in Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean they're a good team, and they're probably going through something similar to what we were going through and what we are in terms of not playing our best ball in the last couple weeks. But they're a really good team. They have championship aspirations, and I think we're going to get their best shot in 2 nights' time. So they're a good team. They'll respond the way they have to, and it's up to us to come out in Cleveland, throw the first punch, and kind of carry off where we left from this game.
Do you have a sigh of relief having this game? Like, okay, we're back on track.
Yeah, tonight did feel that way, but it's one game, and as I said, they're a good team. They're going to respond. They're going to bounce back. So it's up to us to be able to, kind of flow on effect from this game, take things we did good, moving into the next game. Things we didn't do well, clean up on. But it's kind of that playoff series where you have a day break, you play that same team again. So as I said, they're a good team, and they're going to be ready in a couple nights.
When the team struggles like you have, there's all the talk about deadline, blah blah blah. Is shut that out.
Yeah, I mean, we never speak about it internally. We all believe we've got enough in this locker room, and that stuff's out of all of our control. That's upstairs, so they make their decisions. But as I said, we always believe we have enough in this locker room. We believe that all year, and we still do. So I guess whatever happens around that is out of all of our control.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.